Tomorrow morning, just notice something. How many decisions you make before 10 a.m. This episode is part of a series about burnout, not as a personal failure, but as something shaped by systems, design, and culture. Don't change anything, just notice. And imagine what it would feel like if a few of those lights simply turned off. This is why the bear feels so intense. Why quiet quitting resonated. Why burnout memes feel uncomfortably accurate. They're not about laziness. They're about too many lights in the control room. The problem isn't that you're bad at managing your life. The problem is that your life has turned you into the manager of everything. And no one ever trained you for the control room. The algorithm will see you now. I know it's been a minute. December was a pause, a time to breathe, reflect, and reset. But now we're back, because the world didn't stop shifting just because I did. And this season, we're digging deeper into the algorithms, assumptions, and invisible systems shaping our lives, especially in health. Let's start here. Why everything feels harder now. The other day, I was standing in my kitchen, coffee going cold, phone in my hand. I wasn't scrolling. I wasn't distracted. I wasn't even stressed. I was trying to decide what to make for dinner, and my brain just stopped. Not emotionally, not dramatically, just empty. And I remember thinking, wow, that's embarrassing. This wasn't a crisis. This wasn't grief. This wasn't a bad week. It was just Tuesday. And that's when it hit me. What if this isn't burnout the way we've been taught to think about it? What if this is something quieter, something more structural? What if this is what it feels like to be stuck inside a control room you never applied to work in? Disclaimer: the views expressed on Tomorrow's Consciousness podcast are just that, views. This content is for informational purposes only. It's not medical advice or professional guidance. Always consult a qualified expert about your own situation. Some opinions may belong solely to our sources or guests. By listening, you acknowledge we're not liable for decisions you make based on this episode. More details are in the show notes. Listen to how people talk now. They don't say, I don't have the capacity, my brain won't work, I can't think straight. Everything feels like too much. And what's important here is when this is happening. Not during emergencies, not during crisis, during normal life. Emails, forms, portals, appointments, passwords, updates. It's like waking up every morning and clocking into a control room. Lights blinking, alerts firing, decisions stacking, and there's no one coming in to relieve the shift. And the algorithm will see you now. Decision fatigue isn't drama, it's mechanics. Your brain runs a finite executive budget. Attention working memory inhibition spent mostly in the prefrontal cortex. Every choice pulls from that balance, not just big choices. Micro ones, which tab to click, which tone to use, whether to reply now or later, switch, evaluate, inhibit, repeat. It's not that you're lazy by afternoon, it's that the control room has been firing all day. Each alert forces a tiny fork. Prioritize, park, skim, read, trust, verify, ignore, engage. Even I'll decide later is a decision, with a tab left open collecting interest. When the budget dips, the brain defaults. You reach for the easiest path, postpone by the first option, say yes to avoid friction, scroll instead of start. Or you swing the other way, over control, rewrite the form, tweak the settings, stuck in loops. Errors rise, patience drops, friction feels like threat. This isn't willpower leaking out. It's an energy management system triaging an overload. Cognitive load stacks from everywhere. Work, care, health, money. The 10th decision about groceries can feel heavier than the first decision about your future because the budget is already spent. Decisions cost effort. Context switching adds a toll. Ambiguity increases price. Consequences magnify it. Remove any one of those and the cost falls. Add them and the room gets louder. I can't think straight. The control room is overclocked. The alarms aren't failure. They're a resource report. Even choosing a snack can feel like a cliff. Next, how to redesign the room so you're not burning the budget on blinking lights. Decision fatigue gets explained like this. You make too many choices, you get tired. That's true, but it's not the whole picture. Psychologist Roy Baumeister showed that decision-making draws from a finite mental resource. Public health expands this into cognitive load, the total mental effort required just to function. And when that load never lets up, it becomes allostatic load, the biological cost of living in a constant state of demand. This isn't about weakness, it's about saturation. You're not failing in the control room. The control room was never designed for one person. People say, life has always been hard. They're right. But hard is not the same as mentally saturated. Then, more defaults, fewer knobs to turn, clearer roles, fewer inboxes, slower loops, a handful of channels, a few trusted authorities. You followed the script or the script carried you. The control room had fewer panels, fewer alarms. Now everything is an option and an obligation to decide. You don't just live your life, you administrate it. Pick a plan, compare providers, toggle privacy, manage passwords, choose the app that chooses your news. Every product is personalized, which means every setup is on you. Opt in, opt out, update later, remind me tomorrow. Meta decisions pile up. Decide how you'll decide. Work used to stop at a door. Now the door is your pocket. Pings flatten hierarchy. Everything looks urgent. 3 platforms for the same conversation. Meetings to prep for meetings. Context switches as a default setting. Shopping used to be what's on the shelf. Now it's 4,000 reviews, 12 price trackers, dynamic carts. Travel used to be an itinerary. Now it's 20 tabs, seat maps, fare classes, alerts. Even rest asks for decisions. Which show, which mode, which plan to cancel before the trial ends. Pressure then was heavy. Pressure now is continuous. Not one big weight, drip, drip, drip. Decision exposure all day, every day. Algorithms widen the menu, but not the margin. More choice without more certainty. More information without more signal. Ambiguity up, consequences opaque, costs invisible until they're not. So yes, life has always been hard, but the control room is louder now. More panels, brighter lights, faster clocks. Your brain isn't weaker. The environment is noisier. This is why it feels different. Not failure, conditions. Next, we redesign the room. Fewer levers, quieter alarms, defaults that work for you. So your budget works where it matters. There's another effect of decision fatigue that almost no one talks about, and it's this strange feeling that time itself is broken. People say things like, "Where did the week go? I can't remember what I did yesterday." Everything feels fast and slow at the same time, and we usually explain it away. Phones, age, being busy. But cognitively, something else is happening. When your brain is overloaded, it shifts into processing mode. Not meaning making, not reflection, just throughput. Public health research shows that chronic cognitive load interferes with memory consolidation, which means your brain stops recording life as a story and starts treating it like a cue. Task in, task out. Next alert. So days blur, weeks collapse, moments disappear, and later it feels like you weren't really there for your own life. This is why people say time is flying, but also feel stuck, because when everything is urgent, nothing gets integrated. You're not losing time, you're losing narrative. Here's the part that's uncomfortable. Decision fatigue doesn't just make you tired. It changes how you experience being alive. When your brain is constantly scanning, what's next? What did I forget? What needs attention? It never receives the signal that it's safe to rest. And without rest, there's no memory. That's not laziness. That's survival cognition. It's the same reason people in high-stress environments struggle to remember details later. Their brains weren't living. They were managing. This is why weekends don't always help. why vacations feel oddly thin, why even joy can feel muted. Because rest doesn't restore you if your brain never leaves the control room. And suddenly, months pass. Not because you wasted them, but because you were too busy keeping the lights on to notice time moving. Keyline, slow. When your brain is overloaded, it stops recording life. It just processes it. Time doesn't just pass, it frays. When every choice asks for a microanalysis, minutes shear into clippings. 5 seconds here, 12 there. A pause to compare, a pause to confirm. The hour is gone, but it never felt like an hour. The present stretches like gum around tiny decisions, then snaps back. You feel late, even when the clock says you're on time. Short tasks inflate. 2 clicks become a corridor. Log in, code, prompt, toggle. Check the box that proves you checked the box. Each step small, together heavy. Your horizon shrinks. Planning past today feels foggy, so you choose the near easy over the far important. Not because you don't care, but because the runway keeps getting cut into strips. Urgency loses meaning. Pings flatten everything into now. So later becomes a place that never arrives. Waiting used to rest you. Now it recruits you. While you wait, decide. While you walk, decide. While you eat, decide. The in-betweens, where recovery lived, get paved over. Memory blurs. You did so much, yet nothing finished. The day ends without an arc. No beginning, middle, end, just segments. And then guilt steals tomorrow's time before it starts. This isn't you being bad at time. It's time getting diced by design into pieces too small to hold. Naming that lets us stitch it back into hours that feel like hours. There was a stretch when I was sure something was wrong with me. I couldn't prioritize, couldn't focus. Even simple choices sparked irritation and then shame. So I did what you're supposed to do. Planners, apps, systems, color-coded calendars, habit stacks, pomodoros, a morning routine that needed its own instruction manual. Small pause. When none of it worked, I blamed myself. If the tools are proven, the broken part must be me. What I couldn't see yet was this. I wasn't failing to manage my life. I was acting as the lone operator in multiple failing control rooms. Work panels lit red deadlines chirping over each other. Healthcare, portals forms urgent messages with no human on the other end. Family logistics, schedules braided so tight they squeaked. Emotional labor, monitoring everyone's weather even when mine was storming. No backup, no margin, just blinking lights. That was the reality. Not a character flaw, a room built to overload a single person. And once I named the room, I could start changing it. Healthcare is one of the clearest control rooms. Not illness, administration, scheduling, verifying insurance, referrals, prior authorizations, portals on portals, passwords, 2-factor, CAPTCHAs, repeating the same story to 5 different people who can't see each other's screens. None of this is medical. All of it is cognitive. Public health has a name for it, administrative burden. Every click is a microtax on attention. Every please hold is a drip from the tank. And power shapes the panel. If you're hourly, you take calls in a parking lot on your lunch break. If English isn't your first language, you translate your symptoms and the system. If childcare is on you, every reschedule is a domino line. The less power you have, the more of the control room you're expected to run alone. Decision fatigue here doesn't just feel bad. It delays care. It shortens appointments. It creates missed meds, missed scans, missed follow-ups. It worsens outcomes. This isn't a motivation problem, it's a systems problem. A room designed like this produces exactly this kind of tired. Here's a small moment. There was a message I meant to respond to. Not emotional, not urgent. I just couldn't decide what to say. So I didn't. Days passed. It got awkward. Not because of the message, but because of the silence created by one more decision I didn't have capacity for. That's how decision fatigue shows up. Not as collapse, as quiet withdrawal. A single light on the panel I let flicker, then another. A tiny cost becomes a tax. The longer I wait, the heavier it feels, the fewer words fit. I start rearranging other switches to avoid this one. Open a tab, close a tab, scroll tidy, pretend. Meanwhile, the loop grows. Guilt adds noise, noise steals bandwidth, bandwidth makes another light harder to face. It looks like nothing from the outside. Inside, it's the sound of a control room dimming, one small bulb at a time. We're told burnout comes from caring too much, but that's not actually true. Burnout comes from being forced to care without control. Think of the panel. I kept watching lights, messages, tasks, people blink. Not because I didn't care, because the switches I needed were locked behind glass. Caring with agency restores people. Caring without power drains them. It's not that the light is heavy, it's that my hands are tied to lift it. So the room dims, not from apathy, but from architecture. That's not a mindset issue, that's a design issue. Change the design. Give reachable switches, clear authority, fewer hidden alarms, and the same caring becomes fuel again. We don't need less heart. We need more handles. If burnout is caring without control, who's standing under the heaviest panel? Start with the math. Risk spikes where three things pile up: high stakes, low autonomy, opaque accountability. Add thin staffing and the lights never turn off. Front lines live here. Nurses, teachers, social workers, EMTs, customer support. They face nonstop alarms and the least say in shutting them off. And trainees and residents, maximum duty, minimum agency, performance judged by systems they don't design. Mid-level managers, accountable downward and upward, with few switches of their own. Contract and gig workers, algorithmic schedules, shifting targets, no lever to pull when the system misfires. Intersection matters, women, people of color, immigrants, often assigned the invisible labor lights. Emotional mediation, DEI loads, family logistics, more blinking, and fewer authorized switches. Public sector and healthcare carry unique layers. Compliance alarms, audit alarms, safety alarms, reputation alarms, lots of dashboards, few knobs. The outcomes show it even when the causes hide. Higher turnover and sick leave in roles with the least schedule control. Error rates rising with each added interruption. Moral injury, where values clash with metrics, when the right switch exists, but the glass won't open. This isn't about individual grit, when it's about system architecture. Decisions are frequent, consequences are real, authority is thin, burnout concentrates. In control room terms, the more lights you must watch, the fewer switches you're allowed to touch, the faster the room drains you. If we want different numbers, we need different levers. This isn't evenly distributed. Burnout and decision fatigue cluster among caregivers, healthcare workers, women, people with high responsibility and low authority. CDC-aligned research shows emotional exhaustion spikes where expectations are high and control is low. Burnout follows structure, not personality. If you want to see the control room, watch what we watch. The bear isn't just kitchen chaos, it's a wall of tickets as alarms. Every herd is an acknowledgement chime. Zero knobs, just faster hands. Quiet quitting wasn't slacking, it was hitting the dimmer on a board with no off switch. Boundaries as the only lever available. Burnout memes, they're dashboards. 20 tabs, 5 pings, 3 deadlines, 1 person. We laugh because the light pattern is familiar. Hospital dramas are sirens, clipboards, compliance alarms, pager alarms, reputation alarms, performing medicine inside a metrics maze. Corporate comedies show printers jamming, approval stalling, not incompetence, opaque accountability. Everyone responsible, no one authorized. Even games mirror it, resource bars draining, pop-ups stacking. Success depends less on skill than on interrupt management. Day in the life reels with color-coded calendars aren't optimization, they're manual patch panels. People wiring their own workarounds. Pop culture didn't invent this feeling. It's reporting it back. Too many lights, not enough switches. They're not about laziness. They're about the cost of running a room you don't control. Pop culture proved the room is real. Now we add switches. Start small. Kill one bulb. Mute a single alert stream for 2 hours daily. Watch nothing break. Batch the beeps. Create fixed windows for email chat approvals. Fewer interrupts, same output. One knob per goal. Pick the metric that actually moves the mission. Hide the rest from daily view. Clear authority lines. Responsible and authorized. Written on one line, one name per decision. Default dimmer. Slow channels by default. Fast lanes by exception. Failure budget. Pre-allocate time for slip, rework, and recovery. No more pretending the board won't flicker. Visible off switch. A shared dark zone on calendars. No meetings, no pings, protected work. For teams, pager rotation, not pager parade. Standing de-escalation script. What drops first when everything screams? Weekly bulb audit. Which alert produced action? Kill the zombies. For you. 2 rules. If it's important, batch it. If it's urgent, own it. Or explicitly pass it. End of day shutdown ritual. Clear 3 lights, leave the rest on purpose. This isn't about working harder, it's about running the room. Add 1 switch, then another. The board gets quieter. You already know the room is real. Pop culture's been screaming it. This is why the bear feels like a panic attack. You can't pause 1 kitchen, 1 board, too many lights. Everyone's competent. The system is chaotic. Why quiet quitting hit a nerve not slacking. Self-installed switches. People dim the board when no one else would. Why burnout memes land a little too true jokes as diagnostics. The punchline is overload. These aren't stories about laziness. They're maps of the control room. Too many inputs, undefined authority, no visible off switch. You've lived the episode, then scrolled the meme as proof. So bring the proof back to practice. If Carmi needs a call and response, you need a standing de-escalation script. If quiet quitting is a boundary, make it a shared dark zone. If the meme is everything is urgent, give urgency a lane and slow the rest. Pop culture named the noise. Your switches make it quiet. 1 knob per goal. 1 owner per decision. 1 dark zone everyone respects. Run the room, don't fuel the fire. The story ends different when the lights are yours to dim. When the room stays loud, the brain goes quiet in the wrong places. At the individual level, attention narrows to the noisiest light, not the most important one. We swap analysis for habits, default social proof the nearest button. Working memory shrinks, error rates rise. We time travel badly, discount the future, click the fast thing. Empathy thins, language shortens, sleep erodes, which feeds the loop. Behavior shifts look small but compound. More just this once. Choices fewer deep work blocks. Risk oscillates. Rubber stamp when tired. Overcorrect when scared. Procrastination masquerades as perfectionism. Unfinished loops pile up. Scale it to systems and the pattern shows in numbers. Clinics, late day visits see unnecessary antibiotics, unnecessary imaging, fewer preventive conversations. Safety, end of shift handoffs spike near misses, context gets dropped. Public services, complex forms abandon people. Benefits go unclaimed because the application is a maze. Civic life, longer ballots reduce completion, down ballot drop-off climbs when cognitive load does. Money, too many retirement choices cut enrollment, defaults steer decades of savings. Information, fatigued feeds spread headlines, not articles, correction costs go up. Inequity, complexity taxes the least resourced. More hoops, higher stakes, fewer buffers. These are quiet consequences, not explosions drift. A degree off, multiplied by millions. So we answer quiet with quieter, shrink the board, fewer options on screen, 1 clear next step. Pre-commit smart defaults, good by default, great by intention. Batch-like decisions, schedule recovery windows after red lane work. Make urgency a lane with a ticket, not a vibe. Use checklists for the high-cost errors, scripts for de-escalation. Publish dark zones everyone respects. Say what doesn't need doing. Cut 3 lights and the error curve bends. Dim the noise, and the humane thing scales. Quiet consequences can reverse, same way they arrived. 1 switch at a time, then all at once. Decision fatigue doesn't just make you tired. It makes you shorter, less curious, more reactive, less generous with yourself and others. It doesn't make you worse. It makes you smaller. And when that happens at scale, participation drops, trust erodes, democracy weakens. That's public health. You are not fragile. You've been overassigned. In a control room wired to blare, your brain did what good brains do. It protected throughput. It grabbed the loudest light to keep the room running. That's not weakness. That's an operator doing triage in a failing system. So let's reassign the job, not your worth. Your identity isn't bad at decisions. It's steward of switches. Your power isn't in absorbing more. It's in choosing what belongs to you and what doesn't. Try these new contracts with yourself. Not mine. If a light isn't tied to your lane or values, let it blink out. Name it, park it, move on. Good by default. Set defaults that make the right thing the easy thing. Future you is on your team. Urgency needs a ticket. No ticket, no sprint. You consent to urgency, you don't inherit it. Batch the burden, same type choices, one window. Close it, recover. Pair the load. 2 operators, 1 checklist, fewer errors, less blame. Dark zones are sacred. Protect quiet like equipment. Locked, labeled, respected. And together, write team defaults that denoise the room. Escalate broken workflows, don't internalize them. Vote for simpler forms, safer handoffs, humane throughput. That's public health too. Say it with me, I'm not failing, I am overassigned. I redistribute noise, I'm a builder of quiet systems, I choose my switches. Agency isn't bigger willpower, it's better wiring. We start small, 1 switch at a time, and the room changes with us. If this episode is resonating, it's probably not because you're fragile. It's because you've been buffering the failure of multiple systems. You're not bad at life, you're overassigned. When I think back to that moment in my kitchen, coffee cold, brain empty, I don't see weakness anymore. I see load. I see a control room that never powers down, and a person doing their best to keep the lights on. Let's try something small, gentle, 2 mornings, that's it. Tomorrow, choose a quiet window you already have. 10 minutes is enough. Before you begin, rate your load from 1 to 5. Don't overthink it. First number. Now dim the control room. Turn 2 switches off, notifications on your phone, news, inbox, or the tab you check without thinking. Or pick your own, background TV, extra lights, the second screen. Turn 1 switch on, a single task in front of you, a glass of water, a short walk to the window, look out, name 3 colors, set a timer for 10 minutes, breathe like you're lowering levers, in through the nose for 4, out for 6. If your mind grabs another switch, nod at it, let it go dim. When the timer ends, write 1 sentence. What got quieter? What still hums? Repeat the same window the next morning. Keep the same 2 switches off. Keep the 1 on. If you feel a spike, undo 1 change. That's part of the data. After day 2, we rate your load again from 1 to 5. No judgment, just numbers, just light levels. If your life is full of non-negotiables, make the experiment smaller. 3 minutes, 1 switch off, 1 breath you can keep. Consent matters, safety first. Think of this as maintenance, not repair. You're not proving anything, you're learning where your dials are. When you're ready, share your sentence with someone who feels safe to you. Or keep it, tape it to a cabinet, a reminder the room can quiet. We're not chasing silence, we're practicing reach. Which switch is yours to touch today? What is the system asking of me? If this episode put words to something you've been carrying quietly, you're not alone. You don't need to fix anything tonight. You don't need to optimize your life. Just notice what feels heavy, and remember that exhaustion isn't a personal failure. If you want to stay with this conversation, subscribe or follow Tomorrow's Consciousness wherever you're listening. Next time, we'll talk about who actually benefits from all this exhaustion and why burnout keeps getting framed as a personal problem instead of a systems one. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Thank you for staying in the room with me. Take what helped, leave what didn't. If the experiment brought up something heavy, talk it through with someone you trust, or a professional, your safety first. If you want, share your sentence below. What got quieter? What still hums? Read each other gently. We're building a place that respects attention. If this felt useful, subscribe so you don't miss the next part. We keep it light, no noise, just tools. Next episode, how to add switches back on loud weeks without blowing a fuse. 1 breath before you go. In for 4, out for 6. Hand on the doorknob. Carry 1 working switch with you. Fade to black.